In recent months, blackouts mark the lives of the Cubans. The U.S. blockade, fuel shortages, break-in and lack of spare parts in thermoelectric plants forced the inhabitants of the island to look for alternatives to minimize the consequences of power cuts in their daily lives. Our correspondent in Havana, Lisandra Andres, brings us closer to some of the stories.
One of the most populated in Havana. On blackout days like this one, she has to return home early from work to take advantage of daylight for housework. According to the plan given by the electricity company, Correcha knows that every 3 days, whether it be during the day or at night, there will be no electricity at her house.
Then it gives us time to plan our cooking schedule in the morning. If we have a blackout in the evening, it gives us time to cook lunch because we have gas from the street. And if at that time we don't have electricity for lunch, we cook it on the stove.
Although she knows what to expect, it is not easy for her to bear the suffocating heat of these months at home, so she has had to change her routine, especially for her son.
Yes, it is a bit complicated. For example, if it coincides with the kindergarten, it doesn't affect me so much. But during the day, I take him to the park so he can be there for a while, playing, and not have to be here in the heat of the morning, locked up in the house.
On the other end of the city, Dalienis Ortega has not escaped the blackouts either. She is the owner of the private cleaning and laundry dyeing company Cubans Laundry, where half a ton of clothes are processed every day, an important part of which is destined for hospitals and maternity homes. Her company strives to have orders ready in less than 48 hours, but with the blackouts, that may not always be the case.
It has been a challenge to which we've had to adapt. Sometimes there are some workers who arrive at 4 in the morning or who leave a little later. We don't have a schedule. We've had to break the continuous schedule we had, and we've made plans that in turn also affect their daily life. But it's a moment where we all have to contribute, whether it's in time or whatever is necessary to be able to move forward in this moment that is so complex.
During the hours of blackouts, they check deliveries and shipments and use the time for their own business activities, but they are already looking for alternatives to deal with this situation, which is not expected to have an immediate solution.
It would be a good time to make incentives for people, as in this case we who are large consumers, to be able to use clean alternative energies, whether it is the installation of solar panels, the purchase of clean energy by solar farms, or any other alternative that allow us to separate ourselves a little from the electrical system, where we don't have to recharge it.
The Cuban government says it seeks to reduce blackouts by the end of the year through repairs and new investments, and to reduce the country's dependency on fossil fuels, so that by 2030, 37% of the energy supply will be derived from renewable energy sources. Meanwhile, the government is focused on solving thermoelectric power plant breakdowns and carrying out maintenance in the shortest possible time. For now, the only thing left to do is to keep the public informed about possible disruptions and their schedule.
Lisandra Andrés, TeleSUR, La Habana, Cuba.